Hello, good Sunday evening. Hope you've had a good week and a good weekend. Thank you for tuning in for What's on My Crafting Table. I'm Sandy with Quilted Treasures and More, and just give you a little sneak peek of what's been going on this week. I was able to do another of the Spring Magnolia Challenge door hangers that I took part in last week. So I had a lot of fun doing this challenge, and I enjoyed getting to do another one of these door hangers this week. So that was pretty fun. Got to do that. Also, we had the February online paint party that Quilted Treasures host. And so this is what we did. Home sweet home. I call these bluebell flowers. I don't know what what their actual name is, but to me, they look like bells, and so they're blue, and I call them bluebell flowers. So we were able to do this one for the February online paint party. Had a lot of fun with that one. I actually made a time lapse video that I'll post at some point. I know y'all are like, "Oh my word, she's obsessed." I don't know what it is. I did one. I had seen some other crafters and artists do the time lapse, and so I don't know. I kept putting it off. No, I'm not going to try that. No, and then I did one, and so now I'm like, oh, we could time lapse that. I don't know. I guess the tech geek in me has awakened or something. I don't know. So anyway, this evening I'm doing something new. If you read the description, you're probably thinking, "Oh brother, what in the world?" So this is either going to blow up or this is gonna turn out okay. It's one of the two. So I've always wanted to try doing something on canvas. Okay, so here's what I have. This is what I'm working on tonight. It is canvas. It's not a door hanger. And the um the door hanger challenge, the spring challenge that I did had magnolias, of course. You just saw the picture, and you've seen me post about the spring challenge and the various stages I was at as I was taking part in that challenge. And so I don't know. I've always wanted to try the canvas stuff, but I wasn't sure what to put on the canvas, and so I chickened out. I actually traced out a template onto canvas one time, and it's sitting under my crafting table here somewhere under there in this storage area, we'll call it. I never did do anything with it. I traced it out, and that was it. I did nothing else with it. So I gotta tell y'all, I'm a little on the edgy side about this one. So I don't know, the magnolias, they just kinda inspired me to try this. I've always thought that flowers on canvas were so pretty. I don't have a big fancy word for that or a major explanation with long, definitions. It just I think they're pretty. So I'm like, "Okay, I'm going to try this tonight." So we're gonna jump on this and get started. So, one quick note before I jump in here. No, I'm not stalling. Honestly, I'm not. The Paint Party Box, the spring edition, we will be wrapping that up really soon because I'm going to need to move on to the March Paint Party Box and get everything ready for it because before you know it, I'll be posting pictures and doing a reveal for it. So anyway, that's coming to a wrap here, very in the near future. So just wanted to give you a heads up on that. Okay, so we're gonna do this. Okay, we're gonna do this. I've got my egg cart here, and I've got my paper towel, and I have my paints. I'm gonna do it in the same colors that I did the uh, spring challenge door hanger, which you see right there, kind of above my head a little bit in the dark corner. I need some brighter light bulbs in my dining room light here, so that corner will actually be a little brighter. So, but it's there in the corner, and it has the pretty bow on it. That one's the one that I did as part of the spring challenge, and so I'm going to use the same colors and techniques that I used in that challenge on the canvas, and we will see how this goes. Okay, so here we go. All right, so I'm going to start out with my white, and I am going to I'm just going to jump in here, y'all. That's all I'm going to say. I'm just going to jump in here, and we're going to have fun with this, okay? I wasn't sure what I was going to do tonight, and I kept going back and forth and back and forth, and I finally said, you know what? I have been wanting to do this. I've been wanting to try this, and I'm just going to do this. I'm going to, I don't know, take a leap of faith, jump out, jump off the cliff. I don't know. We'll see how this goes. All right, I'm going to treat it just the way I did my door hanger. That's how I'm thinking about this. I'm just going to do just what I did for my spring challenge door hanger. I'm going to paint all of this white. I may not need to do that, but that's what I'm going to do. That's how I'm going to do this. And if you're looking at this going, well, Sandy, the canvas was already white. Yes, yes, it was. But I want to do something around the edges. And so I'm going to go ahead and put down some white. And then I'm going, of course, the magnolias will be white. So we'll have to go back over them, of course. But I'm just going to put down one coat here of the white. And we're, like I said, we're just going to do this and see what happens. We're just being super creative tonight and experimenting. Maybe I should have wore a lab coat. Too bad I didn't have a Einstein wig or mustache. I could have put that on. We could have had the look of a true person who's going to be experimenting here. All right, so I'm just going to go back over this a little bit. All right. Now, I'm not going to do anything with the edges just yet. I'm going to save those till the end. So I'm going to jump in, and I am going to next, you know what? While the white is still fairly fresh, I think I'm just going to, start on my flowers here. So I'm going to slide this over a little. But I do need my gray. Go ahead and get it over here. And that way it will be ready, because I'm going to be doing some shading on my magnolias. So I am going to work in another layer of white here. And then what I'm going to do, dip in a little bit of white, and I'm using an angled brush. And so I'm taking the long end and dip just a little bit into the gray, and then dip the shorter end into the white. And so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of come around and just kind of shade in some gray. One thing I've been working on is trying to do the other side. I seem to do really well when I'm going to the left, but when I go to the right, for some reason, I do better if I flip it around and go that route. I don't know what it is that I just can't seem to get that one side down. Now, like I said, this is all new. So we are just you are part of an experiment tonight. So you get to sit in and watch and see how this goes. I did not really shade that one again before I started doing that. Boo boo number one. All right, so all I'm doing is putting down a second layer of white because I went over the whole thing in white. If you're just joining, I just went over the whole thing in white. And now what I'm doing is I did a second layer of white, and I am simply shading with some gray. It's a light gray. Oh wow, I can see it a lot better on the screen than I can looking down on it. I've discovered that with the lights that I use, if I'm sitting here looking at it, a lot of times I can't see the shading, the way it varies. And so I just realized you just look at the screen, Sadie, you can see it much better if you do that. So I flip back and forth between screens just to see if I have any comments. If you're tuning in tonight, just send me a hello, hi, where you're watching from. I know I have a good number of folks in my local area that tune in, but I know we've had some new folks join in, and I'd love to know where you're watching from. Welcome to the page, by the way. Thank you so much for liking us and following us. And just to let you know, we do have an Instagram. If you are on Instagram, you can look up Quilted Treasures and More, follow us there, as well as YouTube. All of my videos, I go in and post each week after I'm through. I go in and post on YouTube. And for those of you who are new, I was talking about the paint party box. You may not have been in on any of the posts, seen any of the posts yet for the paint party box, um, or haven't watched the reveal that I did. Put just a little bit of color there and there. May add just a little there. The paint party box is a door hanger blank. And for the month of February, we did a bunny in the tulips. He's a cute little bunny in the tulips. Also in the paint party box, you get a couple of party favors. There's a supply list that comes in the paint party box, as well as a link to a video where I am painting the door hanger blank. So you can paint along with me. So I am just working my way around. Like I said, this is my experiment for the night. I have chickened out of doing canvas paintings before, and I'm sure plenty of folks would tell me, yeah, it was probably not a good idea to try to paint a canvas for the first time live on Facebook. Well, you only live once. Do something, that may completely become a disaster. At least once in your life. Take take that one big plunge. My uncle and aunt owned property in Florida, around the Milton area. If you're familiar with that area in Florida, it's uh, mm, Pensacola would be the biggest landmark, or the biggest city, I guess, closest to it that I could tell you if you're not familiar with that part of Florida. But my aunt and uncle bought property, and on this property was a creek, and it was so cold, y'all. It All of us kids, me and my cousins, when we would go stay at my aunt and uncle's, we would all go down to jump in the creek, and we would call it the shock treatment because that was the only way to get into that water. You Walking in was not a good idea. Okay, you didn't just go and gradually walk in. It was just too cold. I remember my brother and my cousin, one of my younger cousins, they would go in and literally come out, and their lips would be blue. It was that cold. But that made for really cool memories. We will always remember the days of being in the icy cold water there in Florida. They had a good bit of property there, and usually how all of us kids ended up there on the weekend is because our parents would bring campers and tents, and so we would camp out over there. And when my uncle and aunt first bought the property, we would go over and help them out as far as clearing some places and cleaning up the property. So, needless to say, we spent a lot of time in the creek, and just having a good time making a lot of memories. If you're wondering how I traced this out, I did it the same way I do my door hangers. I simply took my graphite paper and my template, and I put a book underneath the canvas because this is not one of those flat boards. This is on the frame. And so I put a book under the canvas, and I traced it out with the graphite paper and then went over it with my marker. So that way it would show up and I could see it as I was working on it. Well, actually, it helps to show up on camera when I add the Sharpie marker to it. So this is a first for me. If you're just tuning in, or if you're watching on the replay, this is the first on canvas for me. And yes, I decided to to try this live on Facebook. So I'm just doing a little shading. A little too much gray there. A little bit of shading on the petals of the magnolias. Just adding a little gray, and then we'll get to I'm getting ready to start with the green here in just a minute and get the green going. Make sure I've gotten all the areas I want to get with the gray. I think I do. I may come back. Y'all, I have to tell you this little angled brush that I have, y'all are gonna laugh at me. So I have this one angled brush that has become my favorite. Okay, it works wonderful. So when I was doing the fall door hangers from the fall challenge, and it said "Happy Fall, y'all," and I was doing the leaves and the pumpkins, I broke my favorite angled brush. Okay, so I couldn't chunk it. It was just too. It was just too. I couldn't see doing without it. So I taped it, okay, because I couldn't work with just this itty bitty handle. Okay, so I taped the handle. And up until yesterday, this I've still been painting with this, okay? Because like I said, it's my favorite. So yesterday I picked up uh, a pack of brushes, and lo and behold, bless goodness, in this pack of brushes was an angled brush the same size as the other one. And you would have thought I found $100 in the parking lot as I was walking out of the store or something. I was so excited. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's the same brush. So, anyway, it was like Christmas. All right, let's move on to our leaves. I know y'all are thinking, oh my goodness, what did she have for lunch? I actually had a very good lunch today. A real honest to goodness, what I call Sunday dinner. So, I did have a really good dinner today. All right, so I'm going to need my angled brush again because I am going to work on the leaves now. So I'm going to start with my green. I'm going to go and put a layer down of that first, and then I'm going to come back and do some shading on my leaves as well. I don't know. I guess I thought the canvas, going back to my, you know, I don't know if I really want to do canvas or not. I guess my fear of canvas is that it would be very different from the wood, and I had gotten so used to working with the door hangers and the wood. I guess I just thought it would be so different that I wouldn't really know what to do. So, and I guess I'm still trying to figure out while I'm sitting here painting, I'm still trying to answer that question. Is it really that much different from wood? I mean, it has a different feel, don't get me wrong. The wood is wood, and this is a framed canvas, so it's not sitting flat on the table here. So, yes, there are differences, obvious differences, but I'm looking at how the paint is just doing differently than what it does when you're working with a door hanger. One thing I have to watch with my door hangers is you'll see me a lot of times put a base coat on because some colors, they're just, the wood is going to show through, or the texture of the wood, or it's just not going to be a what I call solid or smooth or bright, bold color is sometimes what I call it, especially if it's like a bright orange or a bright pink. So I like to put that base coat down so that way it just helps the colors. I've watched people paint on canvas before, and I've always thought it was really cool. Of course, the main The main one I've watched paint on canvas is Bob Ross. I did not now, I mean, when I say I've watched Bob Ross, it's not one of those things where I knew what time he came on every week and, like, my DVR was set to record him. Not quite that major, but, I have another leaf over here. Okay, that is the leaf. I was like, "That doesn't look like the leaf," but yeah, that is the leaf. Had to check my door hanger. It's the same pattern. I just did not, I just shrunk it down. So it's the same pattern that you see on the door hanger back here behind me with the magnolias, but I shrunk it down to fit on this 8.5 by 11 canvas. So, okay, check real quick, make sure I haven't missed any comments. If, oh, thank you, Miss Susan. She says, looking good. Thank you so much. I am trying something new, and I got to tell you, I don't know. I just jumped out on a limb today, and then as the time got closer to start my live, I was like, maybe this was not a good idea. So we're just having fun with this. That's the way I right before I hit the button to go live, I was like, okay, we just got to look at this is we're just going to have fun. So now on this one, what I'm doing with the leaves, I've got two different color greens. I've got my green that I painted the leaves already, but I'm dipping in a little bit darker green, and I'm just going to use that to kind of shade around my edges a little bit. So we're just going to, you may hear my washing machine in the background. I forgot to close my laundry room door. Telling y'all I was not sure if I wanted to do the canvas or not, so I do try to remember if I've got clothes washing to close that door, but I did not. It's getting ready to wind down though, so hopefully it won't be noticeable too much longer if y'all can hear it. All right, so I'm just working on the leaves here. Like I said, I can see that shading better when I look at the screen and what the camera is picking up than what I see just sitting here looking at the canvas, which I don't know, that's always struck me as odd. I'm not real sure. Not real sure why that is. And I think it's because the light's real, just to be honest. I think I know what it is. It's the lights create a brighter, I don't want to really say a glare, but it I don't know, maybe glare is the word. I'm gonna rinse my brush because it's starting to blend a little too much. I really just I want the two colors to be separate, but yet blend together to create a shadow look. So and again, I'm using an angled brush with this. So I'm just dipping a little in the short end in my lighter paint, and then the long end of my angled brush in to the darker paint. And then when I'm moving across, my brush is not, it's not straight or flat like it would be if you were painting a house. I've got it turned just a little bit so that I'm dragging that paint at that angle to create that shadow or shaded look. Go up here and get this leaf real quick. Coming up this week, I was trying to think if there was anything special that I had coming up this week, other than wrapping up the February paint party box. That'll be closing out this week. And then I'll start getting ready for the March one. Oh, I do know what I wanted to ask. I am trying to decide on whether the March paint party box should be another spring theme or if it should be an Easter theme. So if you could help me, give me your input. I want your thoughts on that. Should I go for another spring? Because this party box was the bunny and the tulips. So should I do something else spring? Maybe flowers? Just flowers without any critters? Or maybe something like, I did have another one picked out before I picked the bunny and the tulips. It was a bicycle. And so we could go with a bicycle or we could go with Easter. But I appreciate your input on that. That helps me know what kind of things y'all are looking for when I do these. And on the paint party box, if painting is not your thing, message me or text me or comment below and I can get with you about getting a completed door hanger. It won't be the paint party box. Okay. It'll just be the door hanger, but I I can do those just like I would paint any other door hanger. So if you're like, "Oh, well, but it's in the paint party box." It's okay. You can text me or message me and we'll talk about just doing the door hanger for you to just put it up on your door. And so if that interests you, and like I said, you just don't want to do the painting, you don't have the time. I understand. Schedules are chaotic. I get it. I have a almost teenager and we have busy schedules. She is into several things and so we do stay pretty busy during the week. All right, next I'm going to move to just our little sitters and I just realized that I did not I didn't put any shadow around the center. I was going to do just a touch of a shadow. So I'm just going to paint white right here real quick and just put a little shadow off to the side. Just a little bit of a shadow off to one side of that center. Okay. All right, now for that one, I think it's going to be too big. For the center, you know what? I'm going to get a flat brush for the center. I was going to do, or here, I'll do this one. A smaller tip. We're just going to go with that. All right, so the colors, I haven't really been talking too much about the colors that I've been using. The colors that I've used are just plain white, or I think it's called snow or titanium white. And then the gray was a sky gray. It's a light gray. And then the green was medium Hauser green, and then the shadow was dark Hauser green or Hauser dark green. Hauser medium green, Hauser dark green. The center here I did is burnt sienna, and I am getting ready to add just a little bit, just a touch of, it's an ochre color. Looks a lot like a mustardy color, and actually too much came out of that. I probably could have got away with just dabbing out of the top of the, and that would be my dog wanting to be let out. So he likes to make an appearance on Facebook every now and then by barking and letting everybody in the household know, hey, I need attention and I wish to go outdoors. So, okay, I saw a little bit of white area where the gray, I think, overpowered my white, and so I was just kind of touching that up a little bit. I am actually getting ready to take just a little bit of the yellow color that I had here in the center, and I am going to add it to white. So I'm going to do a little bit of mixing here. Take some white and put over here on the side and grab just a little bit of the yellow. And what I'm going to do is just put a touch of color into the center of, well, I say the center, on the petals of my magnolias. So I am just cleaning my brush off a little bit. I should have mixed it with the other end of my brush. All right. So I don't want a whole lot in my brush, so I'm going to tap some out. And then I'm just going to kind of hit just a little bit. Just give just a little bit of color in the leaf, in the petals, not the leaves. I did this on the door hanger and I really liked the way it looked. So we're going to try it here as well and see how it turns out. Now I can go ahead and tell you on the door hanger, if I get too much, I'll go back with plain white and go over it. Here in just a minute, I'm going to hold it up so I can see what it looks like. It's hard for me to tell. Oh, I can see some on the camera. I can see it on the canvas, but it almost looks like a gold color. And so I'm not sure if I'm getting it too dark. And again, it's the way the light is reflecting off of the canvas. Does the same thing to me with the door hangers. It'll reflect off, and I have trouble telling exactly what the shading looks like sometimes. Okay, I think I like the way that looks. I'm not even sure I'll go over that with white. I may change my mind later, but for right now, we're going to leave that as it is. Okay, now around the edge, well, you know what? I'm going to wait on the edge because I need to go and I want to take black and do the outline. And I've told y'all before, I go back and forth. Sometimes I will use paint pens, and then other times I will just grab a brush and black paint and simply use that and do my outlines. So I'm going to use my black paint and paintbrush for this one. I did that on the door hangers and I liked the look. Sometimes I prefer the look of the paint pen. Sometimes I like the way it looks with a brush. So with the door hanger, I really liked the way the brush made it look. So I am just going to do that again here on the canvas and see how it turns out. I'm just going to hit a little bit around and give just a little bit of definition back to the center. Now I try to plant just to have a little bit of a stability point, my pinky onto the surface I'm working on. Sometimes that's hard, especially if it's hard if you've just painted in that area. So we are just kind of working around, trying not to rub my hand through the fresh paint. I did not do this much outlining on my door hanger. I actually let the gray be the majority of the outline on my door hanger. But this one, I don't know, I feel like it needs to be outlined completely. Maybe because it is canvas, maybe it's just the way it looks in this light. Maybe it's the way it's the wind's blowing. I don't know. It's crazy the excuses we come up with for things that we do sometimes. All right, so again, just outlining what I've done. And if you're just tuning in, you're like, oh my goodness, what are you doing? It's a canvas, it's not a door hanger. I took the spring door hanger template and took the flowers off, traced it on a canvas. Whoops. I'm trying not to run my hand through the paint. You know, on a door hanger, I've learned that you can grab a baby wipe and clean that up, but I am not sure if that's possible on canvas. I don't think I want to try that for the first time in the middle of a Facebook Live, so we're just gonna fix that little booby right there and let him be just as he is. I just realized I did not go around the center of that, nor did I catch this leaf. Oh, I'm so sorry, little leaf. Okay, do I have everybody over here? I think I do. All right, now we're gonna start here. And I'm gonna do my best not to stick my hand in the paint. That's all I need is to look up and have paint drug all over the canvas. And the reason I know this, uh, voice of experience. Learning the hard way. All right, so I'm just outlining. And like I said, I did not outline everything on the door hanger, the spring magnolia door hanger that I did. But this one just feels like it needs it. I don't know if it's the difference between canvas and wood or just what. But this one just feels like it needs to be completely outlined. So that's what we are doing. Go around the center. And I think my ochre blended in. I just noticed that. I wanted it to shade just a little bit for the centers. And it did real well on the door hanger, and that's part of the process. You learn what works and what doesn't work. And in this case, I am very much in a new place because I have not done canvas before. I've wanted to do some classes, online stuff. It's just one of those things where you get busy doing other things. So I just jumped out here and decided we would try this evening. Like I said in the description, either it's going to work out all okay or it's just going to be a disaster. So, all right. Well, I got to tell you, I I think it's okay. I do want to do one thing around the edges. I want to take, I think I'm going to go back to this angled brush that I had earlier. It's a bigger angled brush. I'm going to need some more of the gray. I'm going to see if I can do some of the shading around the edge with the gray and the white. So we're gonna see how this turns out. I don't know, y'all. Hmm. Testing it. See how it turns out. Hmm. I may just paint that back white. It's not really going how I pictured in my head. And sometimes that happens. I know on door hangers, sometimes I have had one idea in my head, and before it was all over with, I had painted back over it. I was like, nope, that just didn't work out. I don't know, that's not exactly looking the way I wanted it to look, so maybe we will just leave it at white. And now it may take a couple of coats to get that back to where I want that, but that's okay. We'll get it back the way we want it. Paint over it, and maybe something else will come to me later and I can add it on there. But that did not quite look the way I had it in mind. So, but like I said, that's okay. I've had to do that on door hangers before. Cover it up and start over. So we will think on that for a little bit before we do that. But there is our magnolia canvas. I think it turned out okay, especially for my very first canvas. May not have been by the book, but then quite a bit of this has not been by the book. So my adventure in door hangers and painting, I don't really know if there is a quote unquote book. I mean, I know there are books out there, but I'm not sure there's a quote unquote book to completely go by. But all right, quickly, just to sum up everything, this was the first time at doing a canvas, and I don't know, y'all. I may be tempted to do another one of these at some point. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes. Paint Party Box Spring Edition, that's winding down. I've already touched on that a few times, so that way I can get prepared for March. If you would please leave a comment and let me know if you think another spring edition would be really good, or if you'd like to see an Easter edition of the Paint Party Box. And I will get to work on next month's box here in the weeks ahead. Um, E-newsletter goes out tonight. It goes out every Sunday evening around 8:15, 8:30, I believe. So if you would like to be added to the newsletter list, just type add me in the comments, or you can send me a message or a text, and I will get you added to our newsletter subscriber list. Also, dun, 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 I know there was one more thing I was supposed to mention, and now it kind of escapes me. Oh well. It must be needed another day and not needed for today. So we will go with that. We'll go with that. Thank y'all so much for watching. I appreciate y'all, appreciate your support, and I hope you have a great week. And I hope all those out in Texas and in the areas where it has been so incredibly cold and been doing without power. I know I've seen a few folks on Facebook that are in Texas talk about getting power back. So thankful for that. Glad you guys are getting back to a little bit of normal life with electricity and heat. I know you are very appreciative. Well, y'all have a great week. Again, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.